I'm trembling as I write this. I've bottled this up for weeks, but I'm finally ready to let it spill. Maybe I'm too furious to keep it in anymore. Maybe it's because my phone won't stop pinging with messages from people at that dinner, acting like they don't know why I stormed out, 6 months pregnant. Like I just left for no reason. Here's the whole truth, raw and unfiltered. The first strange thing was how quiet he was when I told him I was pregnant. We'd been trying for years, 2 heartbreaking miscarriages and 1 chemical pregnancy. I'd sobbed in restrooms, in the car, in store aisles. We spent a fortune on apps, ovulation kits, and vitamins that made me queasy. He was there, at least physically. I thought he wanted this too. He said he did, holding me through negative tests, saying, "We'll make it happen." So when I saw those 2 pink lines, I was shaking with joy, my smile so wide it hurt. I waited a day, took 4 more tests, got a blood test to confirm. When I told him, he just blinked. No smile, no hug, no, "Really?" Just, "Okay." I laughed, thinking he was stunned. "You're in shock, right?" I said. He replied, "I need time to process," and went back to scrolling Reddit. Some thread about gaming headsets. I stared, wondering why that mattered more than the news I just shared. I brushed it off, telling myself he was processing. People react oddly sometimes. Maybe he was scared, but weeks passed and nothing changed. No questions about doctor visits, no hand on my belly, no, "How's today going?" If I mentioned the baby, he'd switch topics or go silent, completely detached. I'm not the overly sentimental type. I was nauseous, bloated, exhausted, aching, just getting by. It felt like he was alone behind a barrier, watching me struggle. One night I asked point blank, "Do you still want this baby?" He said, "What do you expect me to say?" Then he left to play his video games. Not angry, just done. I should have pressed harder, but I was drained, blaming myself, thinking I was too emotional, that he was stressed. My mom said, "Men often connect after the birth." My friend Elizabeth suggested it was anxiety, so I kept excusing him. Then came the dinner at Henley's, his sister, for one of her family catch-up nights. She's the type who Instagrams every dish like a food critic and acts like the ultimate host. Her husband's bland, her kids are noisy, but okay. His mom was there, which was unusual. She usually dodges drama, but now I think it was planned. I wore a dress that fit again, my bump just visible, cute. I curled my hair, felt good, hoping Brandon would wake up seeing me happy with family. Stupid hope, I know now. We arrive and it's instantly tense. Henley opens the door, says, "Wow, you're finally showing. I was starting to think it wasn't real," and laughs. I forced a smile, walked in. Brandon said nothing, didn't defend me. We sit, make small talk. Wine's poured, not for me. They discuss a trip next year, and Henley says, "Guess you can't come with a baby, huh?" Brandon replies, "Or without maybe," and chuckles. I stared, he looked away. My hands gripped my thighs to stay calm. Then we talked baby names. I shared one I liked, hadn't told anyone else. Henley snorts, "That's a pole dancer name." I stayed quiet, looked at Brandon, waiting. He didn't react. Then he said, word for word, "We don't even know if it's mine. Ever heard of infidelity and paternity tests?" His mom paled. Henley cackled. I froze like I was in a nightmare. Henley, vicious as ever, added, "That kid screwed with her as a mom." The room went silent. No one spoke. No one stopped them. I set my fork down, pushed my chair back, stood and looked at him. "You're right," I said. "This child doesn't need a father like you." I turned, walked out. No one called after me. No one followed. I drove home. Haven't seen him since. That was 3 weeks ago. He texted once, claiming I overreacted, that he was joking to ease the tension. I didn't reply. His mom texted, saying she was sorry things got heated, that family dinners are stressful, asking for lunch to clear the air. I blocked her. My mom's livid, said she'd have flipped the table if she were there, offered to stay with me. I might let her, but I'm not sad, I'm enraged. How dare he treat me like this after years of trying, losses, pain? How dare he make our baby a punchline, a weapon to shame me in front of his family? I'm carrying our child, and he humiliated me like it was sport. So no, I'm not sad. I'm done. I'll raise this baby alone, without a man who jokes about paternity and lets his sister attack me. I don't care if I'm labeled a single mom. This child won't grow up wondering why I stayed with someone who saw me as disposable. That silence when I stood up haunts me, like they knew I was the only one brave enough to speak the truth. Now, I'm planning. I have a legal and financial consult next week. I don't want give him a chance advice. I just needed to say it. I'm not going back. If he wants to see me or this baby, he'll have to beg, because I'm not letting this slide. Not this time. First update. If you read my last post, you know about the dinner where Brandon shamed me, 6 months pregnant, with his "not mine" joke, while his sister laughed and called my unborn child doomed. I walked out, done. I cut contact, blocked him, his mom, his vile sister. I moved in with my cousin Christy, who had a spare room, a floor mattress, and a working air fryer. I was figuring out my next move, still pregnant, exhausted, alone, but strangely calm. Then he showed up, not immediately, but 10 days later. Weird things started happening. One morning, a box was on my car hood. No note, just a pink onesie with a star, still tagged, clearance rack vibes. I thought it was from Christy's mom or her church. Wrong. Next day, a paper taped to the door read, "I miss you. Talk to me." No signature, but I knew his handwriting from grocery lists on old receipts. Same odd, capital B. I didn't react, let it sit. Then a crib arrived, a huge box outside the apartment. No note, one of those grows with your kid models. I Googled it. Pricey. Why spend hundreds after mocking our child's existence? I dragged it inside, unopened. Christy gave me a look but stayed quiet. She knew I was fuming. Then he appeared in person. I'd just finished a video call with my insurance rep, navigating how to list the birth without him. Pure hell. I was tossing trash downstairs, and there he was by the mailboxes, holding a paper bag with a plush toy peeking out. I froze. He flinched, said, "I just wanted to drop this off and talk if you're not too busy." Like I'm lounging at 7 months pregnant, eager to chat with the guy who mocked me at dinner. I told him to leave. He said, "No, just 5 minutes to explain." I said no again. He muttered I was being hysterical and cruel, trying to fix things. I snapped, grabbed the bag, tossed it in the bin, and said, "You don't get to erase what you did with toys and act like it was a bad day." He said he was sorry, scared, overwhelmed, didn't mean it, thought I'd move on. I asked, "Move on from what? You saying the baby's not yours, or your sister trashing me as a mom?" He claimed it was a rough night, everyone was drinking. I reminded him it was a Tuesday, just lemonade and seltzer. His mom drove home sober. He blinked, caught in the lie. He tried to touch my arm. I stepped back. Then he said, "I told my mom we're sorting it out. She's planning to visit when the baby's born. Can we keep this quiet so it's not a big deal?" My jaw dropped. I said, "You told them we're back together?" He nodded, like it was normal. I slapped him, not hard, more disbelief, my hand moving faster than my brain. I turned, stormed upstairs, slammed the door, locked it, and sat on the floor, stunned for 10 minutes. Days later, Elizabeth called, said she ran into Henley, who acted like nothing happened, gushing about the baby, saying she's glad things are working out, that Brandon came around. So the crib, onesie, toy, not for me or the baby, just optics, to save his golden boy image. Furious, I hauled the crib box to his mom's house in Christy's car, bungee corded in. No warning, just knocked. His mom answered, said, "Oh, you look good." I asked if Brandon was there. She said no, at work. I said good, pushed the box inside, and said, returning the lie he sent. She looked confused, asked what I meant. I said, "Your son said we're reconciling. We're not, and we won't. If you show up at the hospital, my apartment, or near my child, I'll file a restraining order so fast you'll dizzy." She said softly, "You're making this harder than it needs to be." I laughed, because I haven't heard from him directly since, but he's spinning tales. A mutual friend said he's claiming I had a hormonal meltdown and he's forgiving me for lashing out. He's the hero cleaning his own mess. I'm not surprised. I'm not cleaning it for him. He can keep his crib, his lies, his act that this baby mattered to him. He never wanted fatherhood, just the image. When it got real, requiring sacrifice or accountability, he crumbled. Now he's scrambling to save face, but I've seen who he is. I'm nearing my due date with a plan and support. Elizabeth will be there for labor. Christy's packed my hospital bag. We're making it work. Second update. I thought I was done with him after the crib stunt and fake reconciliation lie, but what came next? Unbelievable. My daughter was born early spring, a bit premature but healthy, with big eyes and a tiny frown like she's already skeptical of the world. Christy was with me in delivery. Elizabeth brought bagels and a "You're a badass" balloon the next day. I didn't tell Brandon, his sister, or his family. I left his name off the birth certificate. Some said I was too harsh, that he deserved to know, but he lost that right when he made my pregnancy a joke, let his sister mock me, and rewrote reality instead of apologizing. I wasn't playing. I was shielding my child. Months passed, and I adjusted. Sleepless nights, formula-stained shirts, cold coffee, one crisis at a time. Then, out of nowhere, a message. Not from him, but Carter, his old best friend. They'd drifted apart years ago. Brandon said Carter got weird, blaming him for stuff. I didn't pry, assuming guy drama. Carter wrote, "Heard what happened. It's not my place, but there's something you should know. It explains a lot." I stared, baby asleep on me, exhausted, almost ignored it. Curiosity won. I replied, "Tell me." Carter dropped a bomb. In his early 20s, Brandon got a casual girlfriend pregnant. He panicked. Not just, "I'm not ready," but full meltdown, begging her not to keep it, saying it'd ruin his life. She terminated, and Brandon never processed it. Not grief, but resentment. Feeling betrayed, she decided without his control. Carter said Brandon twisted it, seeing pregnancy as a trap, women using babies for power. He'd make bitter jokes about being tied down or never trusting a test. Carter thought it was harmless at first, but it grew darker. During my miscarriages, Brandon seemed supportive, but now I see he was relieved, dodging fatherhood. He'd flinch at baby talk, avoid trying again, change topics. He didn't want this, not with me, not ever. It made me sick, not because I doubted it, but because it clicked. He hid this fear, let me take the blame, then shamed me publicly. Final update, I never thought I'd hear from him again. I didn't dwell on it or expect it. He vanished, no calls, texts, questions about our daughter, nothing. After a while, I forgot him, not out of spite, but because he wasn't part of our world. Then a letter arrived, plain envelope, no return address, just my name. I almost tossed it as junk, but the handwriting hit me. 6 years later, I knew it was his. I opened it in the kitchen, laundry humming, my daughter brushing her teeth. I expected little, but it still infuriated me. He wrote he'd been in therapy, was sorry, made mistakes, was trying to improve, thought of our daughter constantly. He had no rights but begged to see her, even from a distance. I read it, folded it, shoved it in a drawer with dead pens and old coupons. I didn't reply, didn't tell anyone, just sat with it, not confused but deliberate. After years, he wanted back in. Not random timing, typical of people like him, crawling back when guilt festers. I wasn't doing this for him, me, or even my daughter. I thought, let him see what he lost. I texted from an old number. Saturday, 3 p.m., Lakeside Park, Willow Bench. You sit, don't approach, don't speak to her. 10 minutes. He replied, "I'll be there, thank you." I didn't answer. My daughter, Jay, is 6, sharp, curious, hopping from one idea to another. She rarely asks about him, knows she has a father somewhere, but it doesn't bother her. She's not missing anything. I told her we're park-bound. She grabbed her purple hoodie, asked for ice cream after. That's it. At the park, it was quiet. Jay ran ahead, balancing on the path like a tightrope. I saw him first, thinner, same haircut, fidgeting nervously, staring down. He froze when he saw her, oblivious, shouting about a ladybug on her sleeve. I approached slowly, kept distance. He stood, looked ready to speak. I said quietly, "This is your one shot. Remember what you said, she's not yours. A mistake, a joke to your family while I carried her." I said his change doesn't matter, his feelings don't count. He left, stayed gone, and she thrived without him. She's fine. He didn't argue, just looked broken. Jay ran back, holding a rock shaped like a heart, saying it's her pet rock. She grinned, asked for ice cream. I said yes. As we left, she waved at him, her usual polite stranger wave. I looked back, said, "You saw her. That's more than you deserve. Don't reach out again." We walked away. He didn't follow. I don't know what he expected, maybe a connection, her recognizing him, me softening. She didn't, and I didn't. He missed 6 years, first steps, birthdays, bedtime stories, messy crafts, her quirky jokes. He missed life. He gets to live with that. I don't pity, forgive, or hate him. There's nothing left. He got what he gave, nothing. I didn't need to scream or cry. He saw her, happy, loved, thriving, her own world, and he's not in it.
He gets the memory of her walking away. That's enough for me.
For those asking, I won't tell my daughter who he was soon. If she asks later, I'll give her the truth. Right now, she's a joyful kid. That's all she needs. Edit 2. To those saying I should have let her talk to him, she didn't want to. She's not missing a father, she never had one, there's a difference. Thanks for reading my saga. I didn't write for advice or sympathy, just to release it. Maybe for me, maybe for someone else who's been there. Story's been a wild ride, and I'm so grateful you're here for it. If this hit you or you've got your own family chaos, spill it in the comments. I read everyone and love your stories. Smash that like button if you're rooting for me. Share this video with anyone who needs to know they're not alone. And hit subscribe with that bell icon so you don't miss my next drama. New stories coming, you won't want to sleep on it. Love you all, catch you next time.